If you are here, it means you care about feedback, and trust me, you should. Workly reports that 65% of employees want more feedback, yet most of us don't know how to ask for it or even use it effectively. In this video, I will share the exact strategies for asking and acting on feedback, the same ones that has helped me get my first promotion with just 1 year of experience. And here's why this matters. Research from Corporate Leadership Council shows that employees who receive regular feedback outperform their peers by 20%. Now here's something shocking. 1 in 6 companies even hesitate to hire Gen Z freshers because they don't respond well to constructive criticism. That's a real problem. Forbes say that 96% of people believe that negative feedback improves performance, but Harvard research reveals that no one really wants to give it. And let's be honest, most of us don't know how to respond to it in a way that actually helps us grow. So where does that leave us? Stuck in a cycle where we neither know how to ask for feedback nor how to respond to it in a way that drives real growth. Hi, I am Sanchit, SG2 at Uber, and today I will break down the feedback secrets top performance use to grow faster and smarter. Let's get started. The very first step is to understand the what and why of feedback. Taking feedback is purely an information gathering process, and it's not to feel good or to feel bad. It's a way to fix mistakes quickly, improve performance, and build confidence. Feedback is just a perspective. It may be correct or may be wrong, but you have to take it with a smile. And the bare minimum reason why you should take feedbacks is to ensure that the performance rating you get at the end of the year is not a surprise for you. Once you have this mindset, next comes the preparation. Taking a feedback is purely your responsibility, and you should not wait for a manager or anyone else to come and give you feedback. Find a time to ask. Maybe mid-year review, end-year review are very common times to ask for a feedback. Maybe if you are working with someone on some project, ask for a feedback after completion of the project. Or you can also do monthly or every 2 month feedback cycles with people you commonly work with. It may be your juniors, it may be your peers, or it may be your seniors or even managers. You've decided who to ask and when to ask. Now make sure you prepare questions ahead of time and set a clear boundary of that feedback. Asking for general feedback is like asking how's life. You will get it's fine, but what does fine even mean? Once you ask, how was your vacation? Now you will get something meaningful. In context of software development, you can ask specific feedback about your code velocity, code quality, how fast you onboarded, design and architecture skills, or even participation in the meeting. The target is to reduce the mental load and make it as easy as possible for others to give you actionable feedback. I will build this feedback journey step by step, but if you want to remember just one thing out of this video, make sure you watch the last one because that is the most important and potentially a deal breaker. Now comes the hard part of extracting the feedback, because giving feedback is awkward. People in general are kind and empathetic, and they know that it's difficult to hear something negative about yourself. So unless you are doing something really bad, they will avoid giving negative feedback to you. Research says that 96% people believe that negative feedback improves their performance, but no one really wants to give it. Now your job is to ask questions that make them comfortable as much as possible. Ask something like, how could I have done even better or provide even more value? Or I really want to improve and be as good teammate as possible. So if there's anything that I'm not doing optimally or I can improve anything, just let me know as soon as possible. Or share an observation, something like, I feel this happened and the outcome was not good. What do you think? Or just simply you can ask what I'm doing good, what I can do better. So it gives you both good things as well as the bad things. Or maybe even some strong statements like, I really value transparency and honesty. So if you have any feedback for me, especially constructive one, please do let me know. Asking questions like these will make it slightly easier for the other person to give any negative feedback. Now obviously, even after all this, the conversation will be difficult and awkward. But that's where the real growth happens. Once you've got some feedback, it's time to handle it, because it can be a brilliant one or maybe not so brilliant one. So if you got a good feedback, you can either choose to just stay happy, go on with your work, or if maybe you really want to grow more, you can dig more and try to really get something negative that you can improve upon. But if in starting the feedback itself is bad, then that's slightly difficult to handle. And this reminds me of a TED talk by Dr. Williams, who is a top 50 women leaders of Georgia 2023. She says, don't act like a sponge and absorb all the feedback you have got, because you can soak only up to the limit. Understand what the other person is saying, take notes, and then compare it with the other feedbacks you have got. And after that, just let it go. It reminds me of one of my favorite songs.
Let it go, can't hold it back anymore.
Now, whether you ask for feedback or you got one unplanned, you need to be always prepared to handle it. Understand that feedback is less about what others have said to you. It's more about what you say to yourself. Don't let a bad feedback question your own abilities or the value you are providing. Famous author Tim Fargo has also said, mistakes should be examined, learned from, and discarded, not dwelled upon and stored. So feedback is about learning and then moving forward. Once you understand that you need to learn and let go of feedback, it's actually time to start acting on it. First, differentiate on what needs to be improved versus what can be improved. So for example, if you're in a job and the feedback you get is about you are not meeting your expectations on something, then that's something that you need to improve. Versus the case where you are already doing good and you want to do even better to apply for a promotion, That's something that can be improved, but even if you don't improve it, you're already in a good enough position. Now, once you differentiate this, then prioritize according to the criticality of that thing and the growth aspect associated with that. Once you differentiate and prioritize, it's time to make a plan and also communicate it if needed. So for example, if you got a feedback that you are not active in meeting, ensure that every meeting you join from now, you always prepare in advance. Read the agenda, understand the context, really related documents, and everything you can do to get prepared in the meeting, and then you will have the confidence to speak in the meetings and be active. Maybe you got the feedback that your design skills are not good enough. So make sure that you study online on different design theories, read different design documents by maybe other people who have written in your organization and so on. And actions speak louder than words. So once you've made this plan, make sure to follow through it. And after 1 month or 2 months, maybe you can even go back to the same person and ask if you have improved or not and what else you can do to improve further. I'm not going into the details because it will be very specific to the feedback you have got, but please do ask in the comments and I will be happy to tell you on how you can act onto that feedback. And the last most important point which you need to remember, even if you forget everything I have said so far, is to say thank you.
Thank you!
Let me explain. While taking feedback, we are nervous and it's very easy to get in defense mode and protect our ego. But I can't stress this enough, but do not argue. Now you can ask for clarity if something does not make sense, but there's a fine line between genuinely asking for clarity versus justifying yourself. Listen carefully, take responsibility and say thank you, even if internally you are trying just not to cry. And also don't say something like thank you, but the reason I did that was something and then justify yourself. Because what you really are doing is you're pushing the feedback away and then there's just no learning opportunity for you. And what it makes the other person feel is that their feedback is rejected. So it will make it even harder for you to get a feedback from them in future. Again, maybe you are right, maybe the feedback is wrong, but you shouldn't say that right away because of 2 reasons. First, you are already in a defensive mode and you didn't have enough time to really reflect deeply on what that feedback really means. Secondly, maybe the feedback is only 10% correct. Maybe the person had a fight back home and they are just really taking out on you. But a feedback always comes with some hint of truth. And as I said, you shouldn't act like a sponge and absorb everything. Just filter out that 10% relevant data and then act upon it. So always remember to genuinely say thank you. It is the most important part of receiving feedback. And with that, I thank you for watching this video. Make sure you check out this video next because YouTube says you're gonna love it. See you in this video. Bye.